for a special segment now. Joining me on the show are Adya Juneja to give us all the insights in the world of business, Nikita Singh to tell us what's making the buzz in tech world, and Athira Sisodiran to bring us all the updates from the world of sports. And we begin by going over to Adya for all the market updates. Over to you.
Well, thank you so much for getting me on the show here. And to tell you more about the market updates, we will go from the record highs in gold to trade tensions in Asia and shifting metal policies in China is a quick look at the global business cues shaping markets today. Gold prices surged to an all-time high, lifted by a weaker dollar and growing bets on US rate cuts. Traders now price in a 90% chance of a Fed cut in October and a 65% probability in December. Safe haven demand is also getting a boost from US government shutdown worries. Holdings in the world's largest gold ETF jumped nearly 1% in a single day, signaling strong investor appetite. And while gold shines, another asset class is also hitting records, the US stocks. Americans now hold a record 45% of their financial assets in stocks, the highest on record and even above dot-com bubble levels. The S&P 500 is up 33% since April, powered by the AI-driven tech rally, with the Magnificent Seven alone making up 41% of gains. But analysts warn this exposure make households more vulnerable if market slides. Wealthy investors are fueling consumption, with the top 10% accounting for nearly half of US spending. But away from Wall Street, Asian allies are pushing back on US trade demands. South Korea says it cannot pay $350 billion upfront as part of a US tariff cut deal, calling the demand unrealistic. The pledge equals over 80% of Seoul's foreign reserves. Meanwhile, Japan's $555 billion commitment also faces scrutiny, with leaders hinting at possible renegotiation if the deal proves unfair. Both countries tied the pledges to tariff reductions from 25% to 15%, but funding structures remain unresolved. And in China, the focus is shifting from expansion to sustainability. Beijing has cut its annual growth target from non-ferrous metals to 1.5% through 2026, signaling a shift from volume to efficiency. The policy emphasizes recycling, with secondary metal output set to top 20 million tons by 2026. The move comes after years of oversupply and trade tensions, even as copper rose to new records on the London Metal Exchange. Well, that's it from the world of business today. For all the tech updates, it's over to you, Nikita.
Well, thanks so much, Adya, for all the interesting business insights. First up, citizens of Switzerland will soon be able to use digital identity cards. In a nationwide referendum, voters narrowly approved the plan, with 50.4% backing electronic IDs and 49.6% rejecting them. Now, this is the second time the country has voted on the issue. In 2021, voters rejected an earlier version of the e-ID, largely due to the role of private companies in the system. This time, the government has chosen that the system will be state-run, free and optional. A digital ID works like a secure online passport. It allows people to prove their identity for tasks like opening a bank account and accessing government services. Now, South Korean President, meanwhile, Lee Jae-myung has pledged major improvements to the security of government administrative systems after a major fire at the National Data Center crippled online services around the country. The blaze broke out Friday, which is September 26th, at the National Information Resources Services in Daejeon and was put out the following day. Now, the outage has caused major disruptions to postal, shipping and financial services just ahead of the Chuseok holidays. South Korea's safety minister has said that around 46 government services have been restored, and adding that the other 96 systems affected by the fire will take longer to restore. The facility acts as a cloud server for hundreds of government systems. Meanwhile, Telegram founder Pavel Durov has accused French intelligence of trying to pressure him into censoring Moldovan voices in exchange for help with his court case in France. Now, Durov has said that while he was stuck in Paris last year, an unidentified intermediary asked him to remove certain anti-government channels in the run-up to the 2024 Moldovan presidential elections. France's foreign ministry dismissed the allegations, saying Durov likes making accusations, pointing to earlier claims about he trying to manipulate politics in Romania during the 2025 Romanian presidential elections. Jourov was arrested in France in 2024 and remains under judicial supervision while facing charges for hosting organized crime on Telegram. So that's it from the world of tech. Now my colleague Athra would be taking you through some sports updates. Over to you, Athra.
Thank you so much, Nikita, for all the updates from the world of technology. Let's now kickstart the sports segment from one of the biggest stories from the world of cricket. India have clinched the Asia Cup title for a record extending 9th time after defeating Pakistan in Dubai. However, India refused to collect the trophy from PCB chief Naqvi after the win. Naqvi then took the trophy to his hotel room without handing it over to the men in blue. Naqvi is not only the PCB chief, he is also the president of the Asian Cricket Council and is the Interior Minister of Pakistan. The BCCI has said that they will take up the issue in the next ICC board meeting in November. Over in golf, Team Europe has withstood an incredible final day fight back from the United States to win the Ryder Cup. Europe needed just 2 points from the 11 single matches to retain the trophy. The visitors saw their early lead evaporate when 5 of the first 7 matches swung in favor of the United States. But Shane Lowry's tie with Russell's Henley in the 8th match gave Europe their 14 points, securing the cup. Tyrrell Hatton's tie in the 10th singles match then earned Europe the outright victory. In football, Barcelona came from behind to beat Real Sociedad and top the La Liga table. The visitors took a shock lead in the 31st minute, but the hosts leveled 2 minutes later before half-time. With scores locked at 1-1, Barcelona manager Hansi Flick brought on Yamal in the 58th minute. The 18-year-old was making his first appearance after missing 4 matches because of an injury. It took him only 2 minutes to make an impact and set up Robert Lewandowski for a 59th minute winner. Over in motorsport, Marc Marquez has been crowned as the MotoGP World Champion for the 7th time in his career. He now moves level with motorsport legend Valentino Rossi. Marquez clinched the championship at the Japanese Grand Prix on Sunday. The 32-year-old finished second behind teammate Francisco Bagnaia to move into an unassailable 201 points lead at the top of the standing. Marquez has had a phenomenal season with 11 race victories and secured his first title since 2019 with 5 races left in the campaign. Well, with that, we have come to the end of the sports segment. It's back to you, Jyotsna.
Well, thank you so much, Athara, and I also thank my other colleagues, Adhya and Nikita, for bringing us all the details from sports, tech, and business.